Good morning, Port St. Lucie. Welcome back to another episode of PSL Daily Download, your first stop to all things real estate in Port St. Lucie. Today is June 12th, 2024. Happy Wednesday, also known as Fed Day. Yes, today the Fed is meeting. They will announce their rate adjustments, if any, at 2 p.m., followed by Fed Chairman Jerome Powell speaking at a podium this afternoon at 2:30, and he'll be giving a press conference regarding any changes that have been made to rates and also predictions on what is expected in the future. So very important meeting today. A lot of stuff to go over. A lot of people expected the first rate drop to be today. The market does not expect that, or at least did not expect that going into today. But also, like I had mentioned yesterday, the CPI report came out this morning, and it came in. Actually, I'm going to kind of leave you in limbo there for a second because I will get to that. Because if I get into that, I'm going to keep talking. So let me go over inventory. We'll touch on the mortgage rates where we're starting, the market, and then I will get into the CPI report, which is very important. So stick around here. All right, let's get started with inventory. So today we are starting the day at 2352, and my phones are, I'm getting notifications here and there. So sorry about that. Let me click all this stuff away. All right, today we're starting our inventory at 2352, an increase of about 9 properties from yesterday. So basically, the inventory has not really changed. It's 0.34% um, month to date. So not a lot of big changes. Now, houses that are, I'll actually skip ahead here on houses that are listed for sale on, I'm sorry, for a discount, lowered price, have actually increased, are actually coming off the market. I'm sorry. It did increase yesterday, is what I was going to say. It increased from 584 to 611, but month to date, it has decreased 3.32%. So I'm basically thinking that a lot of the properties that are on the market sitting for a little bit, sellers are starting to get antsy. So they're starting to move into this bucket right there, into the properties with discounted prices, so or lower prices. All right, and then properties that are listed for rent have increased to a total of 33 properties month to date, which is an increase of 7.33%. So that's a lot of big changes there. So not a lot overall inventory, but in between the lines there is some movement. So we'll keep tracking that. Let's go to Mortgage News Daily's daily rate survey. These are based on the lenders that they track. And the numbers are as of close day of the previous business day, so yesterday afternoon. They had the 30-year fixed at 7.16%, down 0.01%. They had the 30-year FHA fixed rate at 6.63%, down 0.02%. So not a lot of movements. I am getting price notifications already this morning, and they're basically at par, like 0.1% or 0.01%, 1 bip reduction in rate. So not a lot of movement overnight, but let's go to the U.S. market news on CNBC's U.S. Market Watch, and I'm gonna get a lot of green here. Let's skip right down to the meat and potatoes. U.S. 10-year Treasury yield is at 4.266%, down, big drop, 0.13 points, 3%, a little more than 3% drop on the 10-year yield. So I will assume that this is going to at some point translate into lower rates. But again, usually when they get big drops like this, I've seen lenders kind of hold off a little bit and then adjust to see if it's, because again, it is a very volatile day and they don't want to be caught on their heels if the rates jump back up. So we'll see. We'll continue tracking that. But let's go to the CPI report. This is the big announcement this morning. Again, followed by bigger announcement this afternoon. So CNBC's webpage here, article titled "Inflation Slows in May with Consumer Prices Up 3.3% from a year ago." So now you would assume that there was an increase, but overall, yes, inflation is still higher, but it actually reduced. So I'll get into that right now. I'm only going to go over the key notes and kind of touch on this chart below that you don't see on your screen yet, but I'll get to that in a second. So the key points: the consumer price index held flat in May through, though it increased 3.3 from a year ago. So basically, inflation still increased 3.3% from last year. Both numbers were 0.1% below market expectation. And that's the key. It really doesn't matter where inflation is, even when it was at 8%. If it was below the expectation, the markets usually priced it well or kind of, moved accordingly. But that's basically what they want to see. They want to see inflation come down less than expected. All right. Excluding volatile food and energy prices, core CPI increased 0.2% on the month and 3.4 from a year ago, compared with respective estimates of zero point 0.3 and 3.5. So here's what I don't like about this report, is that it excludes, core CPI excludes volatile food and energy prices, right? Because they're volatile, right? You can't, you don't want to make uh rate adjustments. The Fed doesn't want to make rate adjustments on anything that's so volatile because they might have to decrease rates today, increase next month, and so forth. And they basically want to kind of smooth that line out so that way when there is a movement, it's because of a trend. If that makes sense. So hopefully I made sense explaining that. But the truth is, and this is how I personally see it, is that food and energy are kind of the main components of to how the regular person lives, right? Like those are the major expenses, right? We have to pay gas to go to places, and if we don't, right, we take the bus. Well, guess what? Maybe the fares will go up because of the gas prices, and we're continuing to see these prices high, and they're not really coming down. So they're still high. And the only reason this report looks good, which is kind of what I'm going to touch on the next key point here, prices increases were held in check by a 2% drop in energy index and just a 0.1% increase in food. So because of food and a big drop in oil prices, energy for the most part, um, I personally feel it's skewed. And again, they do this to kind of smooth the lines. Basically, again, they don't want to make any decisions on anything that's so volatile. But the truth is that things went up, right? The only reason they seemed like it went down is because gas went down or energy went down by 2% drop. And I tend to think that that's not realistic in the real world, let's say. But the market is all what the market cares about, right? This is a report. This is what they're going to make decisions on when they're buying and selling commodities and stocks and bonds and all that fun stuff. So that's where we're at today. But just keep in mind, CPI did, I guess, came in below expectations, but still high, 3.4%. So, all right. Other than that, I won't rant any longer. I'm going to go to the chart, which I promised here, and you could see kind of where we've been. This is January 2021, very low inflation. And we could see how this has gone up and has come down to where we're at today, that 3.3, 3.4. And again, the top line is all items, right? Inflation on all items. And the lower line is inflation less food and energy. And here's the big thing. All items, you could see where they're kind of coming down here. You could see this line right here. But the only reason, as it's this one's coming down, we could look at the core, right? Less, actually, the all items. It's literally still the same as it was basically for the last year. There's really no movement. We're going sideways. The only reason it sounds better is because this other line is coming down, which is less food and energy. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll kind of continue tracking it again at 2 p.m. The any rate adjustment rate announcement will be made at 2 p.m. followed by Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, taking the podium and speaking and giving a press conference regarding any changes and any expectations moving forward. So hopefully you have a great day. If you found some value in this video, please don't forget to click that like button, that subscribe button right below me. and also that little bell icon so it can remind you to watch my next video when I go ahead and put that out. So other than that, I hope you have a fantastic day. If there's any big uh, announcements, especially a rate cut, I will be making another video to let you know. And in the meantime, you could go ahead and catch that video right there. Have a great one. Bye.